Hello, hello everyone. I'm about to go live with Positive with Ramos. I'm just gonna invite her. There we go. Hi, Gemma.
Hey.
How are you? Let's see, Caroline and Daliana. Hello, ladies.
Yeah, so I have a bit of a technical adjustment
Yeah, that's okay.
that's all right. Okay, getting a bit warm here. How you doing?
I'm
Oh,
good. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Nice and warm here. It's nice to feel the warmth, the summer, the sunshine, wearing my shorts already and my sandals, so it's really cool.
Oh yeah, good. Yeah, it's beginning to warm up here as well, so that's nice.
Yeah, it's about, I don't know, probably 22 today, but it's quite breezy from the sea, so we are quite close to the water here.
Hmm.
So it's really nice, yeah. Yeah, lovely. Finally.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good right now. Um, Enjoying a day off, just doing not so much actually. So yeah, that's why I thought I'd just ask you if you wanted to go live, and yeah, nice to
Yeah,
have time.
yeah, definitely. So, do you want to start to talk or anything you want to um
Yeah, I can start with the emotional trigger because I wasn't expecting you to say today.
all right, so you
So
want to talk first?
so yeah, so I had this trigger like, oh shit, right now I'm here in my just in my band shirt, right? I was like, I'm not looking good, and all these negative thoughts were downloading in my mind, and I'm like, no, we're not gonna do that today.
Oh, Daniela is there as well. Hello, Daniela.
Hello.
Uh, yeah, yeah, that is a bit on the overthinking side, and what I mean with emotional triggers is about situations that come to present time, the resurface, and or people that can bring make comments or remarks that can make you feel insecure because of a past experience. Say, for instance, and I said this probably quite a few times before. I quite often I'm a loud person. I'm a loud person, and not in the worst way, but it's a I expressive, I laugh loud, I talk and giggle, and I communicate, and everything. But over the years and throughout my childhood, there are people that, particularly like my sister and some people, the school and teachers like that, that they seem not to like it, right?
Yeah.
And eventually, when you are told one, twice, three times, 50 times, it begins to annoy you, to bother you, and you become conscious of it. When you tell you once and they tell you to shush, it might not be such a big deal, but when they tell you 50 times, when you've been told to shush or shut up or be quiet or begin, and that's attacking your energy all the time,
Yeah.
you begin to take it very personal, and it's it begins to affect your self-esteem, and begin
Yeah.
to think that you are inappropriate, yeah, because it's unconscious. It's the way you've been programmed, and
Yeah.
uh, it happens for many. It still happens sometimes, but I try not to. I've been reactive of it in the past, but I try not to now, because it's like somehow if I do give energy to that person because they're not happy, the way I look at it now is more like it's their issue, not my issue. They don't like to be by my side or with me. I don't I choose, they choose to be with me. I choose not to be with them, and that's that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and you know, it's not like I even find in telling you about managers and things like that, and change your voice. You know, I don't know what kind of request is that for a senior management to change your voice. I don't know where she thought I was a ventriloquist or what, or I worked in a nursing home, you know, but I laugh for it now, but you know, when you are told it's that kind of thing, is you know that you may become very self-conscious of it. You become really inappropriate, inadequate. You think that they are picking on you because when you look at your surroundings, you know, you feel that that kind of behavior is not being shared with them. It feels like it's what you, and eventually it happened that it was affecting to someone else. You know what I mean? And I thought, because I began to retract myself, not to react to that person and not give my energy to her. She said, she probably, I don't know, she said, okay, I need to bother and annoy someone else, you know, because Gemma is not being reactive of it anymore, or she's busy, or just blanked her, you know. So she began to irritate someone else. And this person was really feisty. This person, I'm telling you, she was getting on. She was really, really feisty. I was not even half of it. Because I don't know how, I'm not happy or comfortable with the confrontation, but at the same time, I felt really attacked. My personality really attacked. It's really makes you feel really unsafe.
Yeah, like you're not allowed to be the person that you are.
Yeah, that's right. You are not allowed to be the person that you are. You are not allowed to be yourself. You're allowed to be to fit in a way when everybody's being themselves and you see people laughing and giggling in the office, but the moment that you are not even necessarily louder than them, they didn't like this person didn't like it.
No, exactly.
And it was like, man, you know, it took me a long time, many years, to realize that it was not me. It was her issue, and it's her issue. And I was like on and on and on and overthinking, and why is she doing this? Why she doesn't like me? Why over and over? You know, getting stressed, getting irritated, gossiping about her. You know, all the negative traits, you know, that you can find with this kind of in this kind of scenarios, you know, like, and it goes like gossip, it goes like gunpowder, right? Because people realize, oh, she's winding her up. I'm gonna wind her up as well, and it's you know, it becomes in very negative circles. So try to do the opposite and you know, turn the negative situation, this situation which kept on happening for a long, long time. And at times it happens, so I don't let it go too long. So I try to detach myself from it. You know, I'm aware of it. That's a good thing about it. Is I'm aware of it, and I'm go the tools to say, okay, I don't want to be involved in this nonsense. You know, you go and deal with your issue. You know, because I'm busy and I don't want to put energy or love or my time on people that are not supporting my growth. They don't like me. They're not any, you know, they're not good for my mental health, for my physical health.
Yeah, I understand that.
And I used to just one more thing. I used to get really tense on my muscles as well, like achy. And I don't have a condition called fibromyalgia or anything, but I've been over the years been held in a lot of tension around my tummy area, neck, shoulders, you know, like, because I was worried, or, you know, I was not being able to be myself. I was feel like, okay, you know, because you're talking too much, or because you are, you know, I thought sometimes, yes, now. But I was trying, somebody was watching me and becoming very controlling all the way that, and that happened for so long over the years, you know, and eventually, yeah, that affects your body. You saw that trauma, not the stress.
Yeah, chronic stress is also a cause of chronic pain, and just chronic pain in general. Trauma, any trauma like abuse or chronic stress, but even just an accident, for example, that you get hurt in, it can store in your body, and then you can get physical symptoms, like somatic symptoms of a trauma. And with chronic stress, it's the same. If you cannot be yourself and you constantly have to push down your own character, that also causes stress.
Of course.
Yeah, I recognize it very much. I was bullied in school. I was very young, and I was bullied for being me. You know, the bullies will always pick something out. You know, it doesn't matter. And for me, for some reason, they thought I had big teeth, so if they would call me horse, they would call me bunny. I listened to metal at a very young age because I could release my emotions in it, and that was strange because all the other kids, all the other girls, for example, were listening to boy bands. My boy bands were Metallica and Pearl Jam and that kind of stuff, you
Yeah,
know.
you had
So
no type, and it was absolutely right.
yeah, because that's what I liked, and also
Absolutely.
liked Spice Girls and Venga
Absolutely.
Boys, and you know,
Absolutely.
I liked all that stuff. But I didn't like the boy bands because I had my boy bands.
Yeah.
And I was always criticized for being myself, and that's why now, like now, uh, I'm wanted to be more myself. I like all kinds of music because I'm also doing Zumba, right? So I listen from Zumba to metal, and I like it all. But in my core, I'm a metalhead, and I was always afraid to show that. And also in my teens, when I started to be more like, yeah, fuck everybody, I'm just gonna wear what I want. I was still getting comments, and they're not calling me metalhead, but they were calling me gothic, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
filthy gothic is something that's used a lot in the Netherlands. And I was like trying to explain to them, I'm not a gothic, I'm a metalhead. They just wear black, but we're not the same, you know. And it was just, it was not helping.
it was like a rock chick, isn't it?
Yeah,
Kind of thing.
it's like a rock chick. And you know, and because I was giving it attention all the time, it was not helping. And it was when I stopped giving it attention and just when they said, hey, filthy gothic, I would just say hi and just walk away. And that's where it stopped. And made me realize that all this time that I was giving my bullies attention, I was giving them fuel. Just
Yeah, you were fueling them by getting annoyed, irritated, and conscious, and I can resonate with that because through my childhood years as well, I was bullied as well a lot, right? I well, but no people we're talking here. I was on medication for a treat epilepsy since young age, and I believe that probably um, you know didn't help with my emotions and suppress my emotions because it is a medication for the brain that I only had a blackout in my life. And at the time, and it was treated that I was diagnosed with such and such, At the time, my mom did what he could and took me to doctors, and he would give me these anticonvulsants. And, eventually, you are growing because, and it was nothing else happening on my brain, but I was introverted. I was not able, I was a bully magnet. That's how I identify myself, as sad as it is. People would come and pick on me. They would pick on my ears. They would pick on my hair. I used to have, my ears were sticking out. No anymore because I had surgery 10 years ago.
okay.
But it was all sorts, it was over the years, over and
Yeah.
over and over and over. And it was like ugly, Dumbo. I even bought myself last year a Dumbo t-shirt. I'm going to wear it one day with pride. I will.
Yeah.
I
Oh, I
will.
love Dumbo.
Yeah,
My
I
favorite
do.
animals
I do.
are elephants, so Dumbo
I
is one
know,
of
but
my
it's
favorites.
not. It's about oh yeah, I used to this and that. Then I would go back, and my sister would call me tomboy because I wouldn't wear skirts, and I was very secretive, I was social, and I had the wrong people around me. But in terms of my personal traits, I would keep things very, very secret. I didn't trust people. I didn't trust her because I felt that people would laugh at me. I would get really hurt.
Yeah.
And you don't when you don't personally feel that you are in a safe space, whether you are parents because of your circumstances, because you're upbringing, and your parents do the best they can do with what they got, right? And it was what happened, and it's happened for a reason, and I was there. But you know, and then you're being attacked, and my mom used to say, "Oh, mom, I hate them. They've been, you know, they've been bugging me and bothering me." You need to hit them back. If you don't hit back, I will hit you, and that makes you feel more stressed, more, because you're not like that. You're not. I wasn't a hitting kid. I know I wasn't an active child at all. I was, but you know, somehow all that malice, you know, it was already there. That menace was there. Somehow I'm attracted to that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I can remember being very insecure as a
Very
child.
insecure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was I was not shy, but it could be observed as shy. I was diagnosed at the age of 12 with ADD, which now is called the attentive type of ADHD. Basically, I was the girl sitting quietly in the back of the classroom, staring at the birds outside. I was really like, and you could interpret that as shy, and teachers thought I was stupid, for example. They also always told me to try harder, and every year I would try harder and put so much energy in everything, and then I would hear, it's not enough, you need to try harder. So like when you're bullied and teachers don't like you because they think you're stupid, and like it can really affect your self-esteem, and if you are insecure already and not a very stable person, then it can really affect your mind and your brain and the way you start to think. And yeah, it took me a lot of time to really stand up for myself. I was bullied for years, and when I went to high school, some of my classmates from the before that went to the same school, so I was still bullied. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, because then I got my medication, I could concentrate better. Um, I really started to exceed at school, and I could go a level higher, right? Because I was getting too good of a grade to stay at the position I was in, together with another girl who was also bullied, by the way. And um, I found out.
It looks like you and your mates are bullied. It becomes like you know, okay, we're gonna target that group of girls or boys or guys, you know, because they have mates and they seem to be happy together, and we're gonna target them. That's how it looks like. You feel like
Yeah,
targeted with your mates, isn't
yeah.
it?
We weren't mates, the girl and we just were separately bullied. And
All right. Okay.
we went to a higher level of education, both of us, because we were getting very good grades, and we felt so proud of ourselves because I talked with her, and it felt like we were like sticking the middle finger to the bullies, you know, like you bully us, but we are smarter than you, so fuck you, right? And after that, we became really good friends, and we still have each other on Facebook after all these years. We don't talk to each other very much, and we're not friends because we went our separate ways, and we were very grown up about that after we left school, that we probably wouldn't see each other that much. But it was really good to have a friend like that, that I could, she listened to the same kind of music, we could have fun, we could be silly, could talk about everything. And when I started to have a friend like that, in the other group that we came in, the other class, they tried to bully me too. And I was like, no, I'm done. I've had it. I've been bullied for so many years. I'm not going to take it. And they tried to bully me in a gym class. And I let it just go over my head. And then when we were in the rooms, the changing rooms, they started to bully me again, and I just hit one in the face. I was done. I was so done. And we had to go to the principal afterwards. And that principal, he saved my life. Like, I'm still getting emotional about it, because if he hadn't had my back at that time, oh my God, I don't know what would have happened. But he didn't punish me. He just said to the girls, if you did something that upset Marjolein, if Marjolein got angry, you did something.
Yeah.
And I was like, he knows who I am.
Well
I
done
was,
you for speaking for yourself, you know, because
yeah.
sometimes, you know, the thing is, what I find is, you know, when whether I was a person that, you know, I was at times quiet or not being able to speak by myself or, you know, and I always had to rely on my big sister as well. She's 9 years older than me. She not, doesn't live here, which is like hate and love and hate relationship because she's on my, I'm on her best interest, but
Mm.
I think she had too much responsibility from my mom to look after us. So she had that kind of, um, you know, I have to look after my sister, but at the same time, it looks like a stepmother, the evil stepmother.
Mm.
Yeah. And, you know, it was like, you know, it wasn't fair on her either, you know, because, you know, her job it was to be herself.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so you got that, you get people that you seek out, and you get a moment that when you come out, like I started to come out of a medication at 15, I wanted to become a normal teenager, not like I wasn't, but that medication is beginning to fade away, you know, to come off my body.
Yeah.
And having those, I remember the way I see it is, you know, all those emotions that were suppressed mostly with medication, by bullying, by, you know, circumstances, you know, family circumstances, you know, began to come up and rise up. And it's like, say you shake a bottle of Coca-Cola, shake it, and you open it. What happened? It goes everywhere. And that's the best description, or Prosecco, whatever you want to call it, anything in the range of bubbles, you
Yeah.
know. You shake it, and it goes everywhere.
Yeah.
And it takes a while to, I say, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was rude, you know, I was rude, I was snappy, I was angry, I felt unsafe. I didn't want people around me.
Mm.
People around with circumstances like my friends, some of friends, they have boyfriends, you know, or later on in life when they began to, I finished school, but they didn't, you know. So they went on a different pathway and tried to find jobs, and some of them they were very successful, right? And
Yeah.
the boyfriends, and they come along and say we are saving to buy a house, flat, and you know they had their life kind of figure it out, you know, or on the way to be figured out, all right. And I was alone, you know, with all these issues, with all this anger, with all this rage inside, and feel left out and misunderstood and not understood in so many ways that I didn't know what to do myself. So what's the safest way to do is mental health. It was mental health. Then I was put on medication procured by my mom. She had her own thing. Oh yeah, take this. Okay. It's always work like
Yeah.
that in some families, you know. No fault. It's what it was, you know. And then you go on the same medication and you're taking more stronger medication that makes you feel panic attacks and things like that that you don't relate it. So no, that is me. That's me. We're having all the. You don't relate it to the medical. Of course you don't. It's all the circus, you know. And again, you suppress your emotions again. You go to counseling, psychiatry sessions. You know, it was at the time in Spain was different. You know, and you're still angry. I was still angry,
Yeah.
stressed, left out, and I would get some advice like, right, why don't you try to go out of town or somewhere else as a nanny or something like that. And I was angry because I was not accepting that change. Why don't you try to spend time and embrace your solitude? I don't want. I remember I was snapping at the you know, consultant when I was about 20, 21. I don't want to. I don't want this, you know, like that. And I would try my best to help me, you know, but it's your brain is so wrapped up in negativity, medication,
Yeah.
and that to come out of that is so difficult and end up doing something I didn't want to do. I was triggered one day by my mom, and I don't mind. I talk about it, you know, I'm quite open about it. You know, I ended overdosing of medication, not because I wanted to die, but because
No.
I was in pain. You know, I was triggered for something. That day was a stupid thing. That day was the most stupid thing. But I got really too hot, you know, and I decided to go in my room and take a lot of pills, you know, put myself in bed and lock the door in my room. And I was found by my sister, lucky she found me, and I was rushed to hospital. The next thing it was, I remember people slapping my face, you know, on the way to hospital. Very, very flashback, and I woke up in a hospital with a pump, you know, on my nose, you know, and the next thing is when the doctor saw me and everything, it was like, you're right, you know, you're okay. I was still angry, but I was suppressed with medication, so I didn't have the physical ability to do anything too brave, because my mom was at the end of the corridor in the hospital, and all I saw was upset. She was worried. There were hours waiting for me there to come up until I was able to stand, and, you know, began to work again, you know, again, more medication came up because obviously it was an emergency situation. I wasn't sectioned or anything like that, but in other times it could have been, you know, but it happened to me that it began to improve, you know, to see more clarity in my mind. I lost a lot of weight because I was sleeping, you know, and that kind of thing. And it happened, I was trying to apply for jobs to come to England to work as a housekeeper. And eventually one hotel popped up, you know, after, I think 2 weeks after the issue, you know, oh, we want you here. And I thought, shit, this happened. Some hotel in England, in Devon, want me. I didn't know my English was not near to what it is now. And like, oh, hi, mom, mom, can I go? I was 21, yeah? Can I go to England? Are you gonna be all right? Yeah. So I spoke in the best possible way to the hotel communicator. Yeah, I was 21. It was a month before I was 22, right? So it was September. And I said, we want you next week. I said, I can't, you know, I need to sort, you know, after all this, you know, I needed some time for closure with my friends, you know, because I was going to be 6 months away. My parents, my siblings, you know, and you know, so I didn't know, I didn't have a passport at the time, that kind of thing, you know. Okay, so it was October 14th. I came to England. My birthday was the day before that, and I was on that plane to London. And yeah, that's what my journey. It started with a lot of up and downs, you know. And after 6 months, I came back because a mate came back to Spain, and she was from my hometown. But I wanted to come back. I wasn't happy there. I was in Spain for a year after those 6 months, and I came back to England because it wasn't my place. So, yeah, triggers can take you to different places and situations, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And this year, I really had to work on my emotional triggers, because I grew up with parents' emotional eating. So I had parents that didn't know how to deal with their own emotions, and they were pushing it away. And every time I was a very sensitive kid, so I was very emotional and very wanted to express that and put it out there. And I wasn't getting any feedback on that, or just it was being said like, stop crying, or just don't overreact, and all that kind of stuff. And that made me feel like I wasn't normal, right? So I started, as soon as I got pocket money, I started to buy stuff myself to eat, because I saw my parents eat. That's what they did to deal with their emotions, and it caused me to gain weight and everything. But I also understand with medicine, because I was on Ritalin first for my ADD, and after that I went to Concerta, and Concerta is like same as Ritalin, only it's like on a longer period of time. So it releases
slow release
slowly of the day. And
like you mean Concerta would be like a slow release, like it works for a
slow
few
release.
Hours,
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, it's like you take
my nephew,
Ritalin. I had to take it twice a day because it worked for a couple of hours, then went off and then went back off again. So you had this like
stop fix. Yeah. My nephew was when he was not anymore, but because it's no license for adults, is it? Over 18, but he was when he was about 11, 12 on it. So I remember seeing him. He wasn't himself. It was flat.
Oh.
No, but then when he wasn't on it, it was him. He was happy. Yeah.
Yeah, I went on a concerta because I was getting trouble in school with not being able to concentrate perfectly, and I had troubles with the ups and downs from the Ritalin. So the school psychologist recommended me to go on concerta. So I didn't have those dips anymore, and it went great for a while. And I thought, wow, this is it. And then I got two things at once. I got mono, I think it's called in English. We call it the sickness of Pfeiffer. It's like when you're very fatigued and you cannot do anything at all. It's like the kissing disease, they also call it. It's like you get mono, yeah. It's like you feel so tired, so drained. I just
you mean
started.
ME? Do you mean ME?
No, it was not no, it was not ME. It's just you can recover from it. But it's like I was just starting my education for teacher's assistant, and we also worked in the field, and we started to work more days. So I thought it was just too much for me or something, because I was falling asleep at dinner. I was just almost like a kid. When a kid is too tired, I was just like this at the dinner table, almost falling with my face in my dinner. And my parents said, that's not good. So we got checked it out, and started, it was mono, but I also had a depression at the same time. And the psychologist I went to said, your depression is weird because you have the symptoms of depression, but you have a positive attitude. Something is not right here. So I was also on anti-conception pills. So they looked at that first because a lot of women don't know that, but you can get depression from anti-conception pills. It's very common, apparently. I didn't know it either. So I thought of that, but it didn't change anything.
Because of the hormonal change.
It wasn't that. And
the hormonal fluctuation.
Yeah. So the psychologist said, what are you taking? What more are you taking? And I said, I'm taking Concerta for my ADD. And he said, go look at the side effects. Well, the side effects of Concerta are like, you can write a book about it. And there was depression and self-harm and all that kind of stuff, dark thoughts, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, wow. So I got off of Concerta and to see if that was it, and my mood cleared up. I was better and I was happier, and but I thought, but now I cannot concentrate anymore because that was the only treatment I ever got from my ADD was the medicine. I didn't get behavioral therapy or psychologist for anything of that. It was just the medicine. You have ADD, you have the medicine. Have a happy life, right? So it was like, but now I don't know what to do. So they gave me a lower dosage, and that went great for a while. But after a while, me and the people around me didn't notice when I did take it, and I didn't. I had to get like this box with the days on it, so I knew I took one because nobody noticed I took it. And that's when I thought, I'm not going to go up a higher dosage because I don't want to get depressed again. And I just talked with my doctor, and he said, yeah, I talked to my family doctor about it, and he said just stop it, see how it goes. And that's where I got my first job in childcare because the I graduated from teacher's assistant, but in the Netherlands there was they retracted money from the schools, and schools that were very little money, and teacher's assistant was basically a luxury, and like the schools from the age 4 to 12, right? And
Yeah,
so
for
there
the
were no jobs.
TAs, it was not. Mm-hmm.
And but with my education, I could work in childcare. So I thought, I don't like working with babies. I didn't like babies at all. But I thought, you know what? I have to do something. So let's just try it. And that was my first job without medication. I was very scared. I told my boss the truth about I have this. I'm not taking any medication. It's my first time working without it. I don't know how I'm going to react, how I'm going to be able to handle this. And that's also around the period that I got a lot of physical symptoms. I always had back pains and in my teens and stuff, but that's when halfway in my 20s is really where the pain started to spread everywhere in my body. And it was because I wasn't doing what I love, because I was forced into the teacher path by my parents, because I had some other things I wanted to do, but they say, no, it's not for you, and you cannot make money with that, all that stuff. So I just got into that role, and with how my brain works, it's just too much information coming at you, and not the ability to concentrate. So I had to work so much harder to watch out for the children and taking care of them. And although I liked it very much at the end, it was just not a job for me, and it tired me out. And first I got a lot of pain and tiredness, and I thought, well, I have pain, but I just started working this physical job that I never did before. And my colleagues were telling me, like, yeah, when we started, we had pain as well. It's totally normal. It will go away. Only it didn't go away. It got worse. And I got very, very tired again. And I thought, I'm like, something is not right here. And I went to check with the doctor, like, there's something going on here, something more than just the job. And that's why I got the diagnosis fibromyalgia.
How long ago was that?
I was 30, so 5 years ago.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And like when you get that diagnosis, they tell you there's nothing you can do about it. Cannot be healed. They don't know where it's coming from. And I'm like, I'm not accepting this. I don't want to live like this, because I felt it only getting worse. And I saw myself turning into my grandma, like physically, and not being able to do stuff. And I'm like, I'm too young to live as an 80-year-old. I don't want to live like this. And then the rheumatologist, because those in the Netherlands are who diagnose fibromyalgia, because it's diagnosed by ruling everything out that looks like rheumatics, because the symptoms really look like rheumatics, but it is technically not a rheumatic condition, because you don't have any inflammation, you don't have infections, you don't have swollen shit. I forgot the word, but like joints. Yeah, don't have swollen joints or anything. It's just a pain in the muscles.
Arthritis, perhaps. Yeah, it's just, like.
Yeah, it's not arthritis as well. It's.
I know, but no inflammation, no any indication.
There's nothing. No.
Yeah.
But you have
no indication that it can raise, and when you do a blood test and say, okay, there is an inflammation marker raised up, on the blood, and that could be related to. It's not that. And I know because I've seen it from friends.
Vitamin D shortages and B12 can also cause some physical pains, right? So they tested all of that, and all that was negative. And if you still have the rheumatic trigger points, then you have fibromyalgia. So if it's not rheumatics or vitamin deficiency or anything like that, but you still have rheumatic symptoms, then you probably have fibromyalgia. And fibromyalgia is just a word for to have these symptoms. We don't know what the fuck is going on. We call it this because enough people
it's
have
like
those
joint pain, isn't it? Pain in the joints, isn't it?
No, it's more in the muscle. You can have joint pain as well, but it's more in the muscle and the muscle attachments. And so I was like, yeah, there has to be something, right? I'm not gonna sit here, and because at that point I was taking massive painkillers, right? Prescription painkillers like tramadol and all that stuff, like really heavy painkillers. And I was like, I don't want to do this the rest of my life, because I also was getting resistant to it, because I had a surgery of my thyroid, and when I came out of the surgery, I was in a lot of pain, and they gave me something for the pain, and I was asking them, when are you gonna give something for the pain? I didn't feel it, and they said, we gave you something, and I'm like, no, you didn't. I don't feel anything. And after that, I don't know what they gave me. I think it was morphine or something. Because after that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep now. They gave me something really, really heavy. And normally in the Netherlands, when you're out of surgery and after you come out of the sleeping room, because you have a resting room where you get
recovery room,
the recovery room. And then afterwards, you go to another room and just to be observed and stuff. And normally you will get just paracetamol, right? Just 2 paracetamol for any pain if you have it. I was giving a morphine injection if I needed it. That's what scared me. Yeah, that's what scared me the hell out of me. Because one night I was really, really bad pain, because also with fibromyalgia, if you sit still for too long, the pain also gets worse, right? So I had a lot of pain in my back. Like, I was crying from the pain. It was really, really bad. And the fact that they gave me a morphine injection was like, yeah, but this is not good. This is not good. I don't want to go. Of course, you hope you never need any surgery. But I thought, if I need surgery ever again, and I don't react to the painkillers, what's gonna happen then? I don't want that. And that's the first time that I thought, okay, I don't want to stay on these painkillers anymore. I want to go off of it. And
it's very strong medication, yeah.
Yeah.
Working in nursing
if
for
you're
what I've
taking
been
painkillers for a very long, you get resistant to painkillers. If you're taking it for a long time, you get resistant. You need more and more and more. And that's where I talked with my rheumatologist, and he recommended me a pain rehabilitation center. And that's where I learned how to deal with my pain. And they taught me stuff I wasn't ready to accept, because we're both in the Mind Powers program, the SPMM program, Superpower Mastermind program. And we learned stuff. That's some of the stuff I already learned at the pain rehabilitation center, but I wasn't ready to hear it. I couldn't handle that yet. So although I got a little bit better when I got in the same kind of situation, because I couldn't work in childcare anymore, I had to find another job, and it was in customer service. And again, it was really stressful, not on the body, but on the mind. And I was not taking care of myself. I was still in that trying to prove myself kind of mindset. Like, I need to prove myself, I'm not good enough. And then the job my contract wasn't continued. A week after that, my grandpa died. And I had a relationship at that time that I almost had to mother my boyfriend. So it was taking a lot from me, and I mothered my boyfriend. Like, I was basically his mother. So we didn't have a partner relationship at the end of the relationship, and so he couldn't support me the way I needed him to at that time. And like
I
all of that
understand.
together, like it exploded.
Too much. You
Yeah.
needed somebody to lift you up in those moments when you lost your granddad and you had your physical challenges and concentration and stress or whatever and everything that you know that you were experiencing. And if your boyfriend was kind of codependent because he was comfortable and like kind of
Yeah,
relation to be
I
looked
was a lot
after.
of
You needed the opposite. You needed somebody to lift you up to say, okay, I'm here for you. It was like, you didn't need that, isn't it? It was getting you even more down.
yeah, I really was in a mindset of trying to prove myself to everything and everybody. That's where their people pleasing came from to my boyfriend and the trying to prove myself at the job instead of looking at it and see that the job wasn't for me, right? I know that now, but at that time I couldn't see it. I thought I failed. I failed hard time. Like, but now I know I did everything I could. Everything they taught me. I asked a lot of things. I have trouble with this. Can you help me? I have trouble with this. Can you help me with that? And I took every tips and advice they gave me. I took it and I improved. Only they thought it wasn't enough to continue with me. But that doesn't mean that I am not enough.
Absolutely.
They don't think that's enough. That's their problem, not mine, right? But I wasn't in that mindset, so
That's
it was a
right.
big
Yeah,
mess.
their opinion don't define you. That is the opinion perception they got you, but that's not you. Yeah, that is exterior. So
I see another
yeah,
queen
it's
watching.
complex.
Good driven.
Yeah,
Hello.
good say, good say,
Yeah, good driven.
good run.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I can't say her name right.
it's the English
So yeah, it's all.
pronunciation because I don't know. But yeah, it was just everything together, and then my mental health declined, my physical health declined. I got more pain, more tired. So it was like, yeah, I was at an all-time low basically. Yeah. So I relate with the suppressing the emotions and not feeling good enough and not being yourself, right? To suppress the being who you are. Uh, so I really relate with that, and that's where our triggers come from. Why you can get so angry when someone says just a simple thing, and it enrages you, right? Or it makes you very sad, or like for me, ending the contract for me, like it felt like a personal attack, but it wasn't.
Yeah. No, well, it's
And
something that upset you before, and that moment that got tapped into that emotion, yeah, that old emotion resurfaced, and for whatever reason, you didn't address it, or because for whatever reason, and it's, now you are aware of it. Now you got your tools, and it might feel like it hurts, but you learn to grow from it. Yeah, because you are not anymore that person. You have moved on and you have evolved. And like
yeah,
I well medicate well like when I live with my husband, it's been 19 months. I separate. I was between work, having all these demands and everything, and not having a healthy relationship at home. No communication. I ended up too many shifts at work to get out away from home. But then at work, things were getting shitty there because, it was too much demand. And there was a time I had more my bars on with me, but I was living on taking painkillers all the time. Like I'm telling you, like paracetamol, ibuprofen, because I had all the tension here.
yeah,
I was I was going to chiropractor all the time. The last adjustment I had, it was like a good month ago. So, but it was overdue because it was 3 months. So it was all right. I've been managing better with my joints and things like that. My posture, doing things that, now that it's not so cold, you stretch better, your posture improves, when it's cold, you tense up and hunch up. But it was, like totally like, being at work with all this tension, you have to talk people, obviously the residents have nothing to do with it because you got rapport with them and communicate. But when things are not done or nothing is good enough and you end up doing like care plan, things like that. I was senior person, you know. I set myself down, so I was doing medication. All the medications you talked to me about, I know the pathway through medication, painkillers. You know, morphine is a bit out of a bit too much for somebody who always a chronic pain. Yeah, so you start low, and then eventually, you know, obviously your condition is chronic. Yeah. But it's a picking on things like you put your effort with what you got, with the time you got in your job, and you come across and you're being criticized in a way, oh, this is not good, this word in the care plan, you repeat it yourself, or the misspelling problem, misspelling problem, no, it's a misspelling, yeah, it's not a problem, it's misspelling. And it happens, isn't it, to anyone, or anything like that, and then you go home depleted. You go home because you put yourself so much, you train yourself so much, you put so much onto overcap that you haven't been looking after yourself. And when you come back home and you haven't received love or validation, and that's what you take home. Shit, it was a shit day because the person didn't value my work or my person or whatever, and that's what you take home. When you are, because it's negative, and then you tense, you are cross, you know, you get frustrated, and then you go to an environment that then you go home where things are not going great with an active child who is a child. The children do what they have to do, you know, because they're children and they're testing mommy and daddy at the same time. Things are not working, mommy and daddy, communication wise, you know, and you go into another unhealthy environment. And for how it is what it was, you know, from work. And then I said, where is my way out? Where's my escape? Because it feels like going out of escape room or something. From one escape room from the other. But then what I used to do was like, after my shift usually, it was about 2 years ago, it was about April time, May, it's when I used to say I'm going to go to social media, and I used to go Instagram, that's how I came across look. You know, and I said, wow, that's something really positive, something empowering, something like, wow, you know, and I would have 15, 20 minutes, I said, before going in, because I needed to cool down after a long day, 12-hour shift. I needed to come at least some kind of feel some love, even though I didn't know the person, some kind of empowering words, you know, some positivity, some energy, something that make you feel that I matter. You know, as human beings, they matter, and you, you know, you haven't got the most supportive environment. You know, I need that. I need something or someone that helps me, or an environment that helps me to grow, to surround myself where I can say, you know, I can lean on, because there's so much shit going on in my life, and I wasn't in an abusive relationship or anything like that. You know, I know that people are there that there were a lot, but I was mothering my husband as well. I was mothering him. I was like, he used to drink. He would drink behind my back, and he's a very kind person. You know, don't get me wrong, but I will end up finding that he was drinking, and he will deny it, and it was like a mother and son relationship shit. And then I had a 6-year-old child. I will, my temper will rise because I was at work, between work, and it was during the pandemic especially. He was working from home, but I wasn't. So it was all these restrictions and things shit like that. So it was a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
And then you had to, oh no, I'm not doing this. I'm not, and I was the lack of, what it used to set me off really sometimes, the lack of responsibility, self-responsibility for what he was doing, right? Oh no, you know, you are the one drinking. You fucking know I'm not drinking. Am I? Where's the drink? No, you're drunk. And I thought, are you messing with my head or what? And it was like kind of behavior, like really childish behavior that, you know, whether it's that kind of guilt feeling that whether you love that person because you've been long to them long enough. You know, I met him when I was 26 years old. I'm 44 now, so it was 2 years ago when I was 43 when you know, before that, I joined the Superpower Mastermind in June 2 years ago. So I was 42. But I was, before that, the pandemic, around that time, I was like, this is not right. But it happened, and we have to deal with it, and things became really difficult. And it was challenged. And, you know, more things began to untap, and think, I don't want to. I always used to say, I wait until my daughter is about 12, say middle school, you know, and then I separate because, you know, I couldn't. I couldn't.
No.
Because it was eating me inside. It was like energy draining, same as work. I made that decision in October, and I was scared of it with the work, you know, because I was worried about money. I separated, you know. I rely on some benefits, but I'm working. They are depending on my income, you know. And I worry because it's money and all the cost of living for everyone, you know, all of us here.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I had to make, and it worked out that by taking action to that, writing that letter, you know, they say, oh, no, don't leave us, you know, just stay where you are. They didn't want me to leave, but they were treating me like shit, yeah? And I thought, you know what? I'm not doing this, you know, I mean, I cannot do it. And it was one of the best things I've done because, again, I left my husband. It was a guilt feeling. I stepped down on my job. And I got, you know, more on myself, more myself. I got more on myself because I began to shed weight on my shoulders to, you know, because I couldn't pull on those caps anymore.
No.
Right? And it's more weight to come off. A lot of people, right, relationship, friends-wise, I have to, it's not about falling out, but I disconnected from people.
Yeah.
For the reasons, again, they not complement my life at the moment. They're not, you know, you cannot be drinking all day, hanging out, and resolve your life in the pub drinking. That's not how you go. So yeah, it's a bit, you know, detaching, removing blocks, people, or situations that eventually you make put yourself in a spot. Okay, it's scary as it is because, you know, but you know.
Yeah, it's I was together with my boyfriend for 9.5 years. We didn't live together because he also had big trauma. He had post-traumatic stress disorder and wasn't treated. He wasn't treated. He didn't find the help he needed, and maybe deep inside he didn't want to be helped because although he didn't present himself as the victim, he always had a kind of like life happens to me, right? These bad things gave to me or happened to me, and I just am unlucky. And his mother was always saying, we are not born for luck. We are not born for happiness. And if your mom has that mindset and you're having that mindset yourself, you think you don't deserve things. So he was trying to take action, but it's just he would try a couple of times and then stop. And so it was like he was trying. It seemed like he was trying very hard, but he would just do a little bit of stuff, and then as soon as something went wrong or it didn't go the way he wanted to, he stopped. And that's where he further declined and declined. And I wanted to grow.
That's
there
right.
wasn't space for each other anymore. We were both hurt, and it wasn't a bad person because before we got into a relationship, we were friends for 10 years, so we knew each other for almost 20 years, right? So we knew each other very well, and he wasn't a bad person, but he was just so hurt and so in the victim role that it was easier for him to run away from his problems, and he couldn't help me anymore because he helped me in the past. We could talk really great. He helped me when I needed him, and maybe he couldn't always help me the way I wanted to because he also had his problems, but he was there for me. And in the last couple of years, I really felt like the rock in the relationship, like he wasn't there for me anymore. I had to be there for him. Like I was going through hard stuff as well, and like still I had to show up for him, right? So it was like all of a sudden I just had enough, and it resulted into a fight, and he started blaming me for not telling him, but I did. But he was smoking weed. I did smoke weed as well for pay, but he was smoking it all of a sudden so much. He was smoking like 3 grams a day pure, right? And in the Netherlands, it's legal to smoke, by the way.
Oh
so.
yeah, I heard. I heard about it. Yeah.
He was like, because we both stopped smoking tobacco in 2019, but he started smoking weed pure, and all of a sudden he was smoking 3 grams a day.
He wouldn't blend it with tobacco.
And not anymore. No, he was just smoking it pure, and that's where I stopped. I consumed it like in a tea and something, but it was too much trouble, so I just stopped it altogether. But he was smoking smoking more and more and more, because we also ended the friendship who we thought had gone to hard drugs, and it was really hard on him because it was his best friend. And it was like, I know this is hard for you, it's hard for me too, because it's also my friend, but it's like I was also dealing with that I was let out of my job, and my grandfather died, and the depression and stuff. Like I had a psychologist and someone helping cleaning my house, still have, because I couldn't do that anymore. And luckily we're not living together, because otherwise it would have been worse, right? But it was like he was the sad one, although I was going to tough stuff as well. Like, I'm not diminishing his pain from losing his friend, but it's like we were both going through so much stuff. It was like, but he was the sad one. He was the hurt one, the bitten one, right? And I was like, yeah, but I'm here too, and I need help. And every time I asked him for help, I had to ask him so many times that by the time that he did something for me, it had cost me less energy if I did it myself.
Do you feel that you were more expressive than him? You probably were, weren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, he tried to, but
you were more authentic, you know, what you had at the time. But he was more like coming out, but with things at you, like, oh, yeah, I need this and that.
He was expressive, but when he started to smoke so much,
he wasn't everything
there anymore. No. Even if I tried to start a conversation with him, a lot of times he wouldn't even notice that I was talking to him. And sometimes, because my sister was once every 2 weeks, he was here in my house, and sometimes we would turn around and look at my sister, but then my sister already left the day ago. And I'm like, who are you looking at? You said goodbye to her yesterday. Like, he wasn't there anymore. It was just gaming.
Escaping life, isn't it? You were completely into it. He escaped life with the weed, and
he was running away. He didn't want to be here. And I don't blame him, because he had a very, very rough past. But he didn't want to help himself.
But it was.
So I had to let go.
Yeah,
I had to let go. There was no other way, and especially when they started blaming me and not being supportive. Like, I was saying, I have enough. I cannot handle this. I have my own shit. I need to take care of my own shit. I cannot deal with your shit right now. And he started blaming me for not telling me, and then when he was starting to gaslight me, right? Because he said I didn't say to him stuff to him. Then I said, yeah, but this is what I said to you. And I said, yeah, and then, yeah, you were not specific enough. And I gave him examples. Yeah, but now you're not. You did not say that it was because of me, right? So every time he had something to say on what I had to say, and like putting the blame on me, right? And I'm not saying I'm blameless, because I was too nice. I just, even though I said to him, I don't want to do this anymore. For example, waking him up. I was waking him up. I was doing groceries. I was cooking for him. I had to stop. I needed to stop doing those things, and I didn't. I just said it. I didn't do it. And that's where I am to blame, right? Because I was too kind. I didn't protect my peace and my needs and my boundaries. I just still did things for him until it was enough. And yeah,
you you didn't feel reciprocated when you were in a time in a spot that you needed help, and he was on his own thing with shit, whatever. Which is
Yeah,
you
and instead of
said
saying,
it's
well,
alright because he had too much going on, but you wanted to have some love back because
yeah,
you
exactly, just some
oh
support,
yeah.
and I didn't get that from him, uh, and I got really angry. I got triggered because I didn't felt listened to, and I had that from my before from my parents as well. You know, dismissing my emotions, dismissing my feelings, and they're trying. They were trying to make a tough girl out of me, like not being playing in victim mode role, right? That's what we were trying to do, but it didn't work. So, but I got triggered because that triggered that little girl in me. So I got really angry with him, and he said, "You have to stop being angry because I cannot handle you being angry." And I'm like, and he gets angry about the tiniest thing, right? And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
no, right now I am angry for once. And he was like, is this revenge? Is this a payback? I said, no, I am angry for once. And he just couldn't handle it. And he said, well, shall we make an appointment that you can get your stuff? And I'm like, fine, okay. And I screamed at him, like, you will never see me again. You never have to deal with me again. It was coming from my toes, from that kind of anger was coming up. I was so triggered at that point, and I like now I know why, because it was triggering that little girl in me that was ignored and by her parents and teachers, and like was I out of line with my reaction? Probably. It was too intense, but I was not wrong. And um, after that, he said he was sorry for that, but my mother-in-law also called me crazy that I needed to be taken in a mental hospital. Um, I thought that I was acting like my mother, and she said that to hurt me, right? Because I didn't have the best connection with my mom. And after that he called me and said, yeah, we didn't mean that, right? And I'm like, no, you said it, so you meant it. I was just done.
It's always diminishing the behavior and the way that some people act in order not to make responsibility for their actions.
Yeah, because although I was
And
very angry,
he said to think of is a way like to put the blame on you or make you accountable and responsible for everything that's going on because you spoke your truth.
yeah,
You spoke your truth. You tried to set healthy boundaries, and you say, I had enough. Yeah, maybe you were a bit louder than you normally would have, but for once you let it all the shit out, and people are not didn't like that. Your mother, whoever else, they didn't like it because it was not, you never spoke up your truth from your truth self. You never did. And you did for once, and then people would say, oh, she's being so like
that, yeah.
and then become, but it is sometimes, Ireland, it's like that when you have been suppressed or you haven't been expressing your truth for whatever reason, and then some kind of issue like this happen, the moment that you, maybe because you haven't been able to process it or because you didn't feel brave enough, it happened to me. You want to, but you don't know how to do it. And I talk a lot, but sometimes I don't know what to say in the heat of the moment when it's a person having. And then I start with the overthinking when I should have said this, I should have said that, I've been so stupid, and on and on and on. But you were channeled to go in the moment, trust your, and say, okay,
it has to build up until I have enough, and then I explode, And right now I know that I had, if I could turn back time, I would have done things differently. So I know if I get a new relationship, or right now I'm not even looking for one, right?
No.
Because I'm still healing myself. But if I get in another relationship, if I don't like something or something irritates me, I have to say it immediately and not thinking, oh no, that's just my thoughts.
Yeah.
So that's how I thought. Oh, that's not important. I'm just a little bit annoyed, but you know, I was explaining things away, right? Like he cannot do anything about it. He had a rough childhood. Um, you just need to be accepting of him. Right? That's how I explained all his. So that's what I did, right?
Yeah.
And um, yeah, but in that moment, it all came out of me. But in that moment, I never told him names. I never used profanities. I didn't hurt him to say something to really a low. I never gave him a low blow. I just said, "That's fine. Then you don't have to deal with me, and you won't have to see me ever again." That's what I screamed at him. I never used his weaknesses against him or anything like that. And they did. Him and his mom, and I had a really good connection with his mom. We were friends, right? We told each other everything, and that hurt so much. It was something I couldn't forget, and that's what I was like. Okay, I have to end this. It's done, and that hurt me very much because yeah, we were together for 9.5 years, and we were friends also. But I thought it's not. That's the moment I realized that it was not my job to help him. It's my job to help me.
That's right. You never connected with him anymore after that?
He tried to call me because
Came in say there, yeah.
Yeah, because he was afraid that I might do something to myself. But I never said that I was suicidal. I have been suicidal in the past, but not right now. I was just in a very bad place, and I just needed some time to focus on myself. That's all I wanted. And he said he would never call me, but he would not remove my number, so I could always call him if I needed him. And I said to him, I'm not gonna use it. But he wanted it that way. I'm like, okay, fine. But then he promised he would never contact me, but he did. And he's saying, why am I suddenly your enemy? And I told him again because I felt betrayed. I felt like you let me fall to the ground when I needed you the most. And he said, yeah, those are false accusations, and you're turning around so fast. You know what? I think you're cheating, because otherwise you wouldn't do a turnaround like that. And that's why I said, okay, I'm gonna block you now. I don't want to hear from you ever again.
It's not. It's yeah, that kind of thing. It's always when somebody leaves, especially a woman, a man. It's people can easily think it's about cheating, and it's not about that.
No, and I think the reason why he's accusing me of cheating is he won't take the responsibility for his behavior. I'm taking responsibility for mine, but he is not taking responsibility for his. And the only way he can deflect that is, well, she must be cheating, otherwise she would have stayed with me.
Look there.
Hey, look! Welcome.
He's watching us.
So yeah. It's he was not taking the responsibility for his own behavior. So the only way he could deflect that was by saying I've cheated, and I thought I'm not gonna accept this, because he know I'm not a cheater, right? Because we talked about the most. I cut off female friendships because they told me they were cheating, and I'm like, why are you telling me this? Because you know I'm against it, and I with one friend, because I was friends both with her and the man, with the female and the man, and I told him, like, your girlfriend is cheating. There was a really hard conversation because I was afraid to lose the friendship, but I told him, like, your girlfriend is cheating. She told me, even though she knows I don't like cheaters, right? And so my ex-boyfriend, he knew I was against cheating with a passion almost, right? Because I say, why cheat if you can leave, right? And so I broke up friendships for that, but he accused me of cheating anyway. So that shows you that he's like this for his own responsibilities. He doesn't want to face them. And
yeah, but he
that's that.
probably, the
Like,
only, it's what you probably said, he probably tried to make sense for what he had, for the way he felt, to say you were cheating, but somehow he didn't have evidence.
no.
Yeah, but that was bullshit. He didn't have any evidence for it, and his rationale in his brain, what he had was like, okay, she cheated, but he probably forgot, or maybe he forgot that you were completely against cheating,
Even
right?
and
And
he
it
even
was
wrote
his
it.
comfort. It was his safety net to say, oh yeah, just to make sense. So, oh, it wasn't because of me, because he went with someone else. Yeah,
Yeah, for me, right
exactly.
now, it's
Exactly.
funny, right? Because so much of my energy and my intentions went to him. I didn't have energy and time for my hobbies. I didn't have energy and time to do anything I wanted. The only thing I did for myself was going to Zumba golf. That was the only thing I did for myself. The rest of the days of the week, I was busy with him, waking him up, doing groceries, cooking dinner, everything. I was busy with him, motivating him to getting him out of bed. I didn't have time to cheat, basically.
Even if he wanted to, yeah.
So even if I wanted to, I couldn't have cheated because I wouldn't have any energy left. So yeah, so that's funny to me that he is so in denial that he couldn't see that everything of me went into him, and that's why I know right now I need to deal with my shit and heal myself. Not fully, because I don't think you can ever be fully. There is always something, right? There's always something coming up, but like healed enough to go into a relationship in a healthy way, like equal partners instead of me mothering someone, right? I want to equal partner.
It's really draining, isn't it? It was
uh,
like, for me, it was like,
yeah,
it would be like, say, like, you know, it was to go somewhere, meet up with friends, and obviously we had to drive, even before having the kid, right?
yeah,
And who's gonna drive? It was like, for fucking sure shit. It was like I didn't have the right to drink, even if I didn't drink as much as I did,
hey,
because
my
he did.
sister.
Oh,
Hi,
hello.
Tom.
Yeah. He packed quite a few. He packed quite a few beers. He still does probably, but
Yeah,
you know, I don't know what he does because he lives in his own place, you know. And it was like situation like he was like he had the only fucking right to have a drink. I would have to be fucking driving,
yeah,
whether it was my car, his car, or whatever. It was like, yeah, I would drink, and you know, I was gonna drink, and you would have to drive. And
yeah.
it was a situation like 10 years ago. I remember, it was 10 years ago in February. And we went to London, and two of his mates, they came, he's Polish, yeah? So they came from Poland to visit, and I know them, and that's it. You know, the boys, you know, drink beer, and, you know, that's okay. And we went to Poland on the train, and we parked by the train station to near where I used to live before. We was just around the corner in another town, and it was his car, and it was two mates, yeah? And we
Mm-hmm.
booked the tickets, and we went to London, and we went to Waterloo. We spent the day out. Ended up being, you know, having some time with myself, looking at the shops, and I said, like, oh, something to. Oh no, I had a sandwich, and I said, oh shit. But he always used to that kind of thing. It was like being together but separate, you know. And it was like, okay, you know, because I'm, you know, the kind of person that been very independent, going, you know, I've been able to drive myself to places, you know, hang out with friends, going shopping, going to doctors, my jobs, you know, I always been very independent, but sometimes I have no choice. Yeah. So that time we went to London, we came back, and yeah, as I said, you know, we parked the car by the train station where I used to work, which was very close. And we came back to New Melton, and it was evening. Before that, we were in London, and you know, having a couple of beers, you know, and I told him, I am driving, so you careful what you drink because your mates are here, you know.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's all right to Polish guys, you know, and I said, but I'm not gonna drive because it's your car. Yeah, you came in your car and you got your mates. It's good to practice to your host and your mates, you know. I'm happy to help you to drive your friends, you know,
yeah,
around. I don't have to carry that shit that, okay, I have to carry you just because I'm your wife, all right? And he drank another pint. It was like, I don't know what kind of effect was my talk on him that he would fucking do the opposite.
Yeah.
He would get absolutely, and I say, all right, mate, keep on doing it. And I would get slowly more agitated, more annoyed, more aggravated, more, you know, his two mates like, oh, you're going like that, you know. So we end up coming to, you know, came back in the evening, and I told him clearly, I ain't driving back home. I'm not driving home. And I fucking didn't. Yeah.
Good.
I fucking didn't. But I went home walking, and it was cold. It was cold. It was like maybe 10 o'clock at night. It was a bit cool. And he went home in the car, and I walked. I think it was like 45 minutes in the dark. Oh, I thought you went to see such and such. And yes, you assumed again. He always took me on assumptions. He always took me on for granted that I would be there. And I used to have, you know, be his mate a lot. And he used to be the way, my mate as well. But I told him clearly that day was a boundary. I ain't driving the car home.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's your car. He had a big car. Had a long passage. You know, it's your car. Yeah, your mate. You got responsibility to take your mates home. Yeah. Fuck me because I didn't matter. You know, your mates and your beer were more important. Fine, you setting priorities. That's cool. I went home walking and it was cold. So eventually, I appeared after about an hour, and I saw the friends and said, "Well, oh shit, she's coming there," because you know I went like that. And oh, where were you? I said, where were you? I said, I wouldn't drive your car. I had to walk from the train station, which was like 3 miles. So in my good hour walking, you know, in the cold as well, it was dark as well. I was all right. I know my way. And as I told you clearly, Adrian, that I wouldn't drive your car. And I was firm and determined not to drive your car just because your mates are here. But he was, these things wouldn't wake him up enough to say, okay, right, I'm pushing it a bit too much with my wife, you know. And he would continuously be pushing my limits with kind of shit like that. You know, eventually that year, at the end of the year, I got pregnant, yeah? So that he would drink as well, but I couldn't drink because I was pregnant.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it would be this kind of sneaky shit like, I'm not drinking, oh, I would have to drive, but I was tired and I had a lot of morning sickness, you know, and yeah, sometimes I didn't feel like driving, yeah? It was always about sneaky shit that I used to hate that, and would lie and wouldn't be authentic. He would lie with the stupid things, like, not in a cheating way, because it was not, I don't have evidence of it, put it that way, and I don't think he has, but, you know, it was more like, you know, he wouldn't take responsibility. It was like mothering a child.
Yeah.
And there was this time we went again, you know, we went to Spain, and I ended up driving home from Malaga home, and again, I was tired. I was pregnant, you know, very early weeks, but you know, your body's working really hard. Are you coming with me to see my parents? No, I'm not coming. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'll go. So I came back and I said, well, how was your time here? We were talking in between and stuff, and he would like, oh no, we went to, I took my friend Marcin and his girlfriend at the time, you know, took a day to show him the beach. I said, you know, what? So you were across the bay where my parents lived, but you wouldn't come with me to see my parents to make sure that I was all right with the driving as well, because I was tired. Oh no, just I wanted to show them, and it's the kind of things that make you feel really irritated and not valued, because he knew I was there. He knew I was carrying his baby as well, and I told him, I don't want to see you. I don't want to. No, I want to see. And I said, listen, these things are too much. It was always about, you know, to me, it was like lack of trust, because I was always very open to him about the way I feel, the way I was doing, very transparent. Or I'm going to my friend's house for a drink, or somebody would come over with, you know, for a cup of tea or whatever. I was always fairly transparent. You know, I didn't have major things to hide. I always been me, right? Or at work this happened, or one day I would get irritated. You know, I was always me. You know, he's more of an introvert person, and I understand because it could be a cultural for him. You know, the way he was raised. I met his family. I met his mates. You know, you end up having conversations like that, but you try to meet together, come, you know, we were two different personalities, you know, and we loved each other so much, you know, but when this kind of shitty business happened, that he would do things and he was not honest, I felt he was very dishonest. I felt betrayed. I felt there was no trust. I felt like you don't give a fuck. And eventually, all that built up that, you know, I ended up not giving a fuck either. Because I felt great. Yeah. I felt it was not two ways. You know, you end up being too much, putting yourself too much. Let's do this, let's do that. No, I don't want to. I'm tired. Oh, it's a weekend. I'm not. Let's go for, I don't know, Bournemouth somewhere. No, I don't want to do that. And I thought, you know, and then you end up being scrolling on the phone. Then you get a child. After that, you get the child screaming. You know, and it affects the whole dynamics of the family because you know it's you know because all the environment that you are in. You know, I was in and I thought, I cannot live like this for the rest of my life. You know, I said before, I wait until our daughter is 12 or so, when she goes to senior school, year 7, whatever that year age is, you know, 11 or 10 or whatever. I couldn't because, you know, it was taking me, I was having more health issues, more pain, more stress, more dragging, more you know, more taking more painkillers. You know, I was even drinking. There are times I would drink myself, or do things like I was out of character, and I thought I cannot be like this anymore. So I had to make decisions and say, right, I have to go. You know, surround myself with some positivity, some health environment because, you know, I don't want to live like this anymore.
No, exactly. It's not healthy for you, but also not for your daughter, right?
And for him either. It wasn't healthy for him either.
No, exactly.
I couldn't mother him anymore. I couldn't anymore because it was like a lot of the decisions around the household. I would get often things like, particularly with some guy at work, he would say, "Oh, you are the one wearing the trousers." Fuck off.
Yeah, that's my sister.
Because nobody else would wear them, and I would have to make decisions like, otherwise, you know, you will be all there doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I reckon like our child, you know, there are times some social skills behaviors is they are based on the dynamic of the family.
Yeah. Like on some there is like a barrier. Then it's not fixable anymore, and you just split up. And although it will be traumatic for the child, staying together will be traumatic too. Because I don't know if my sister is still watching, but we are both the result of parents that should have split up like years ago, but they're still together, right? So it's like, and we both are diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I don't think that's a coincidence, right? Because we had to walk on eggshells at home, right? Because we never know what good our parents were going to be. And they weren't abusive or anything, but they were like emotional bombshells sometimes, right? Sometimes you would just say good morning, and then you would get a good morning back, and you're like, okay, what I do? I just woke up 3 seconds ago, right? So it's like there is a time and a place to fix things, and there is a time and a place to just leave, because it's just not fixable anymore. And in the end, it will be healthier for your child and for your
it's trying to, you know, to be aware of the dynamics and the you know, when I told her, I was very clear when I spoke to her. And I said, what about, you know, mommy and daddy are not getting along, all right? And of course, it was tears because she was 7 years old, you know, and I showed her around where we live now. Well, she got 2 houses, you know, her dad's and my house, you know. And I had to, but I think also, because she's the only child, you feel guilty as well, quite guilty. And all the whole shit that's been happening in the world in the past 2 years, 3 years, you know, has affected as well the dynamic and how we connect with people, right? And you know, being able to connect with friends, you know, it's to do with it. I believe, truly believe, it has impacted in the ability to connect with, you know, parents and you know, because it's the only can be a bit over spoiled at times, you know, and but you know, it's not only that, you know, there are many children, there are lone children, you know, and the parents get along. But I think I'm not sure. I need to figure it out, and the way I try to approach the situation is that she needs to become more independent, to do things that she can do, be proud of herself. That also for her independence skills, you know, appropriate to her age, but also to free myself and her dad from that attachment. All right.
The reasons why she might be so clingy could be because she is afraid that you both will leave her.
Yeah, no, we know. I think, yeah, I know what you're saying. It's
like not. I'm not saying it's a real fear. It's just
she can be. What you say actually makes point. Could be because there are times like she's been sleeping in my bed for 3 years. You know, because once I say tonight I checked her out of the bedroom, she was sleeping with me, right? And that carry on. She was 6 years old. You know, 5, 6. Yeah, she's in 9 now. And I said, you got a bedroom, very pretty, a lovely bed, a lot of toys, you know, that lights. And, oh, no, she doesn't like that. But when she goes in my bed, I always been the person that goes to bed early, fairly early, by 9:30, 10 o'clock. And like when I work now, particularly with the daylight, I come here, I'm around here about 8:30. And she comes in about 8:45. Her dad drops her 8:45. And 9 o'clock, she said, Mommy, you coming to bed? I said, I need some time to cool off and to unwind myself from, you know, disconnect a little, maybe get some scrolling done because I don't have that time for myself when I'm at work, all right? And I said, come on, Carmen, go to bed. And she gets really upset. And are you there? I said, yes, I am here, darling. Of course I am. I don't know, maybe it's a fear of abandonment, but it's, you know, it's about that to be quite gentle in the way to approach it because, you know, it's a mind of a child.
Yeah.
You know, and it's trying to make her safe, but at the same time enable her to keep going and become independent because she's 9 years old. In 2.5 years, she will be going to senior school, year 7, and things are going to be very different from primary school. Yeah. So it's not, you know, it will be a big shock if it's not anything in between, working towards something in between, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, she might not walk yet, but it's depending how she is. It's depending on that decision, you know, but yeah, it's about developing her skills, social skills, emotional skills, and confidence. So I believe that she always been a very confident child, but there are times the programming, the environment has impacted her, and I can tell that. You know, she was a very confident kid, 4 or 5 years old. Woo, she was really, and you know, and then they end up developing fears, you know, like say spiders or whatever that they didn't know before.
No, and it's very compelling to be like, maybe because it's from your own guilt that to cuddle her, right, to protect her. Because
I'm very tactile with her. We are very tactile. We are all the time, you know, and we always, even on the way to school, we play tag. You're it, even in the car. Oh yeah, we are very tactile, and I give her that because I didn't get that.
No,
I didn't get that physical affection from my mom when I was a little girl. My mom was not a very affectionate person. She's still not, you know. Yeah. But I give that. And her dad as well. He's very affectionate with her. You know, she gets a lot of you know, hugs and kisses, you know, all the time. And I encourage her when I'm doing things with her and just say, well done, you've done it, and keep going. And when she does an amazing drawing, she's an excellent drawer. She's very good at drawing and creating crafts and things like that. I encourage her to follow that if that is what she really wants to do, because I think it'd be amazing, to through her mind to put that on paper. It's like, wow. I will show you pictures if you want, send you a picture later that she done herself, and I thought that is really amazing, for a child to create. And yeah, it's about as well about, I don't know, maybe her body's changing already, preparing.
Yeah.
Not quite there yet, but it's, again, her hormones are going up, mine are slowly going down, and it's a clash there. And after all, we are humans, and trying to find the balance of that, is what the work is about. It's not we are day that I get more mellow, more energy wise. So also my sleep is alright, at times disrupted as well. Not only for stress or mental health for that, it's just sometimes the body doesn't want to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Yeah.
And what can you do? The daylight, I think as well, she feels at times disoriented with the daylight, because it's, the sunrise is quite early now. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning, and it become early up to 4:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It become a time, it would be 4 o'clock, it's the middle daytime, until almost 10 o'clock in the evening. Yeah, when the sunset, yeah, in the summer. And I think at times she still hasn't learned the time, and I encourage her to learn the time, because that will give her a better picture to orient herself, guide herself through the day, because she will say she's asleep, yeah, and she will wake up like 5 o'clock. It's daylight. Is it time to get up yet? And if I'm really, really tired from the day before, after 12-hour shift, I don't appreciate to be waking up. Is it time to wake up 3 or 4 times, Swami? Mm-hmm. I need that extra hour to my body to recover,
Yeah.
Body's aching as well. It's not only sleep, it's body. They need that energy, And I tell her, no, Carmen, it's not. I still go another hour, and no worry. I reassure her that the alarm is on and it will go off. All right, okay. And again, I think with the daylight, it happens as well. It's daytime, late in the evening. Is it time to go to bed? And I said, well, on a Friday or a Saturday, I'm not so bothered by that, But on a weekday, is we need to do. It was really challenging when living with her dad and things like that, because it's work in progress, Marilyn. Things were very chaotic during the morning, and we shouting, screaming, toilet, and things like that. Now, I also, because she's more grown up now, she dresses herself, and she goes to the kitchen or whatever, gets the bowl of cereal or something with the messes, okay, I help her through that, and she got herself her shoes and everything out with a mayo drama, but before it was like, Daddy, get me out of bed. She was the princess, get me out of bed and take me to the lounge, carrying her to get dressed and dress me. It was like that. It was really dependent and very codependent from that, and I couldn't deal like that, because if I carried her like when she was 7 years old, 6 years old, she was heavy. My back hurt. It's not a baby anymore, and her dad would go and do it quite often. Of course, she would expect that, all the time, and I said, I cannot do that. I'm sorry, because it hurts, and also you got legs to walk now, and ability to do things. You need to become, and it was always, it's work in progress. It's challenging, but we're getting there.
Yeah, exactly. So she's still sleeping with you every night.
Yes.
In your bed.
And I think I got the feeling she sleeps with her dad as well.
Yeah. Yeah. What you can try to do is like that. Maybe one day in a week she sleeps by herself.
I try to do that by text.
Let her choose the day. Give her control. Let her choose the day.
Okay. I'll try to that. Thank you. Yeah, I said to her.
Then she's not told what to do. Then she gets a choice in the matter, and sometimes that helps with the resistance for going to sleep alone. That's also we gave as advice to parents. I also worked in after school, and to children that were still sleeping with in the parents' bed. Like, try to do one day and let them choose which day, because then they have a sense of control over the situation.
That's a
Because it's
good
very
idea.
scary to be sleep by yourself again. Because so if they have a sense of control and like let her know, for example, when it's time to wake up, you will go into a room and say good morning, for example. Then she knows when you come in her room, it's time to wake up, for example.
But funnily enough, sometimes in the middle of the day after school or something, you will find her after playing, and she will go sleep in her bed and have a nap there in her bed, all right. But it's daytime, it's light, you know.
Yeah.
And you think she's all right sleeping.
Yeah,
But
maybe the night light will help, so it's not that dark.
I don't know. Maybe it's the dark, or she says she hear a noise, which is might be the toilet chain or something like that. I don't know. When sometimes you hear foxes, you know, fighting outside, and they can be quiet. It took me a while to figure out what it was, you know, because it seemed like two people shouting, like arguing. It's really weird noise, like that, you know, and you don't know. Yeah, until I saw them and I said they're foxes. They're all right, but you know, it can be a bit in the middle of the night waking up and hear that noise. It's a bit spooky, a bit creepy.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's something I told her. I told her in February. We are May now, almost the end. When the winter, I don't mind to have to sleep because it's cold, you know, and also, you know, it's a lot warmer, you know, in my room. And her room is a bit cooler for some reason. I don't know why. I tried to look at it, but you know, yeah, it's what it is, you know. And as I now it's getting warmer, you can go and sleep in your room. You say you got a very amazing room. She got lights, you know. She got fairy lights and other things, you know, like a lava lamp and kind of thing. She got a lot of things going on there, you know what I mean? And but it's not. It's probably because I don't know, mommy. I like to be a baby, and I kind of not wanting to grow up yet. So yeah, maybe it's a good advice. I appreciate that, and I you know I will suggest it definitely, and try to speak to her dad to you know be on the same page and communicate that, because he can do it. He can be you know, he's good with that. He's very good. But they're very close. They're very close.
Yeah.
So.
And there probably will be some resistance from her because she
She's
doesn't
a
want to grow.
Taurian child. She's a Taurian child. She will. She's a stubborn. She's no stubborn.
By giving her the some level of choice in there, gives her some control and might make her more at ease. I when we're done, I will also send you a link from someone I found her through the Mel Robbins podcast. She is also really good with I think it was child psychology, but really good. She gives really good tips about how to handle difficult situations with children. So
yeah, Mel Robbins.
yeah, it was from Mel Robbins' podcast. It was a woman that was on her podcast. So I will look it up because I have her on my page. So I will look her up and send it to you. And probably if I can put this video on my feed, I will also put the link there for other people that want to know.
Okay. We're going. Yeah, we're gonna cut off now. Is that okay?
Yeah, because we're talking for like
wait.
more than an hour or something.
Yeah, like there is no tomorrow. Okay.
I think we can fill a couple of more hours easily, but
yeah. Okay. Yeah, we could. Yeah, maybe we talk Messenger or something, perhaps to arrange something more regular. What do you think?
Yeah, would be nice.
Yeah, be nice. It was lovely to talk to you. You know, thank you for inviting me to talk to you and share all these experiences and energy. I really like that.
Yeah, it was nice to talking to you too. Yeah, and funny that although we do different lives,
yeah,
that we we have the same experience with basically.
Yeah, well,
it's funny.
yeah, they are relevant to ourselves, I think, yeah, certain things I feel resonate with you, like, things definitely with ADHD, ADD, you call it. I've seen my nephew, and my nephew's got a very similar personality to me, like me, very vibrant, very laughing loud and stuff, and he was not focusing well with the concentration with the school, and at the time he's all right now, he's quite good, but there are certain traits in his personality, like when I speak to my sister, she was apparently tested, I'm not sure, it was at the school or something, she's 53, and there was some traits of ADHD at the time, okay? And but back in the day, there was no treatment for it. My mom didn't know how to cope with that. My father either, bless him. And he was classed as a naughty child, a hyper child.
It was very taboo when I was diagnosed. Nobody ever heard of ADHD.
There was no understanding or anything like that. And it was like a high energy child who wouldn't sleep, or do unusual stuff like breaking things, or I don't know, become very overly confident. It was no understanding about it. It was classed as a naughty child.
Because when I was diagnosed, people only knew about ADHD, right? The hyperactivity, with hyperactivity and loudness and not listening, and people back then, when I was diagnosed, still thought it was a discipline problem. Like, you need to be more disciplined as a child by your parents, right? So it was still very taboo when I was diagnosed. So when I told people I had ADD, nobody knew what I was talking about. So yeah, I can imagine what it was like for your time.
With him, it's more like it was more like, because he's the only child as well. His parents separated, then went back together. But it was a lot of hyper energy. But at times, like I don't know if it's a normal thing between ADHD people, but they are a bit like liars. People, they lie. Maybe because it's relevant to them, and then they change their mind. Like, I'm gonna do this, and then after that, maybe the brain is not lying intentionally, but the brain is so hyper.
Yeah, it's impulsive. Sometimes you make decisions where you think, yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then 3 seconds later,
and then the parent asks you, you said you would do that, and you haven't done it. Hi, Sonia.
Hi, Sonia.
And yeah, it was like kind of, and I think it's like for somebody like my brother-in-law, he gets really offended when he would say something he would do, like accomplish college or something like that, and he wouldn't commit to it, or he will run away or whatever. That he had to be set up things like discipline, like, oh, I want to become a personal trainer, for instance, and his way to deal with it, that was 5 years ago, something like that, or 6 years ago, he said, okay, I pay for you for the course, but if you don't complete it, you pay me every single penny. And he did it.
Yeah.
And he did it because it was 2,000 euros. So eventually he got the motivation. He got the motivation to do it, because he said, oh shit, it's something I want to do because it's bodybuilding and things like that. But if I don't do it, I have to pay my dad $2,000. Where am I going to get the money when he was like 17,
Yeah, that's a lot of problems with ADHD and ADD.
It's a bit drastic sometimes.
Our brains work in a different way, that we cannot handle delayed gratification or delayed responsibility or gratifications, right? So, for example, with schoolwork, when I had to write papers and that stuff, I would just wait till the end, like sometimes the last day or the last week, to write it, because before that time I didn't have the motivation. There was nothing to motivate me. The deadline was months away, right? So it wasn't motivating. And now I'm like, a lot of people see ADHD is not real, or others say, yeah, it's a superpower. I think like it's not a disability, but it can be if treated wrong.
It's not a disability, but it can be an impairment in the way that it can be an impact in the way that, or your daily brain works. I don't consider myself have ADHD or ADD, although I believe that I got issues around concentration, particularly as I grow older.
Yeah.
Retaining information and things like that, you know.
Yeah, and since I was diagnosed with it, all I tried to do, and the people around me too, because they didn't know either, was try to make me a neurotypical person, right? Someone without ADHD. But that's not how my brain works. Like, you take the medication and then you function sort of like a normal person, but your brain still works differently. And for some people with ADHD, the medicine, like Ritalin, Concerta, I have other stuff as well, it works for them like tremendously. It helps with emotional dysregulation and with planning and with concentration. It helps with everything. For me, it just helped a little bit with concentration, but I still got distracted a lot. So it also depends. And right now, I try to work things my way. I'm not doing anything anymore that people say, yeah, I have to do it this way or that way, because I know that doesn't work for my brain. I try to work with my brain instead of against it. I was always like beating myself up for not being able to do things, and now I know I can do it, but I have to do it a totally different way. And
you need to take different steps.
Yeah, it's just,
you know, slow pace yourself.
Yeah, it's just a different way. Differently being disabled.
Yeah, but
it's not a disorder.
It can impact on the learning, the way you learn, or the, you know, but it's no. I don't believe. I believe it's not a disability. It can affect,
also
but
not
your daily life.
There's a lot of people in the ADHD community who don't agree with the name.
Absolutely.
So we don't think it's a disorder, and it's not an attention deficit disorder, because we have attention for a lot of things. That's why we cannot focus on one thing.
You can hyper focus. It's like, well, I was talking to my sister once, and she said, I asked her, I said, have you ever had a diagnosis? I said, she told me that when she was at the school, there were some tests that apparently she had traits for ADHD. But you know, I told you back in the day they didn't do it. But she told me, I said, she gets really scatty. She's a person that with the driving, she gets disoriented. It's unreal. Things like roundabouts are shit. And but there are things like hobbies. So like she does facial yoga, the Kobido and that kind of thing, and she goes really into it, and she got the able to hyper focus on it, and you can tell she's completely into it. She absolutely love it, and she will give herself into it, and she loves it. She can do it. Nothing else. She blocks everything out there, you know. And when she's working with a person, you know, she's just doing her thing, you know, and she loves it. But there are other things, like, for example, she's a very good person as well writing. I believe she's a very good writer and reading as well, reading out. And she's quite smart, actually, yeah. But things like driving, she gets disoriented. She gets, roundabouts, things like highway exits, and kind of, you know, it's panic. You go there and you live on edge, you know. And I say, even when I go there, I say, which I know I used to drive on the other side of the road anymore, on the right, because I drive here in England. I say I prefer to drive myself, because I with the excitement, you know, and I probably got more chances to get lost myself, because I'm not living there anymore. And they are different. They've got new roads and everything, but you know, she got. I know the roads thing business. You know, she even things like roads that she's been driving for all her life. There are times that can be a bit tricky. I don't know. There's something about her with the concentration when she's driving that she's not fully. I don't know. Her brain doesn't take it in very well for some reason.
Maybe
but as I told you, there is
too much things at one time.
I don't know. Yeah, it's something going on. But then things like, you know, she's doing, you know, talking about her facial yoga or doing some treatment or something, she will be completely into it. You know what I mean? And she will do it. You would tell that she completely hyper-focused and she loving it, and she do her best with it. She would.
Yeah, that's why I love the terms neurotypical and neurodivergent, because neurodivergent just means that your brain is wired differently, and different doesn't mean broken,
No,
disabled,
no,
stupid. Just it's
no.
different, and that's okay, right? It's like the saying, like if you tell a fish to climb a tree, it will always think it's stupid. We don't need to
Yeah,
climb the tree. We need to jump in the ocean. We just need to go another way. It's fine.
absolutely.
We're all human,
Yeah,
right? So
absolutely. Yeah, but not two brains are the same. You know, I mean, you're not gonna find two
yeah,
brains exactly the same. So we all learn differently. You know, think about it. You know, your first language is Dutch, isn't it?
it is. Yeah,
My first language is Spanish. You know, and we are talking here in English, right? And so, how
yeah.
amazing is that? Maybe I don't know. You don't speak another language, or mm, do you speak Flemish or anything like that?
No, 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 no. But I do speak a little bit of German, but like
Yeah,
just
yeah,
a tiny bit. I can understand it better than I speak it, and like
yeah.
a few
You
words.
know, so how amazing is that that the brain can, you know, take all that information and, you know, use it to communicate uh, around the world, you know, and then figure out all this social media and being able to connect with people, you know, cannot be, you know,
Yeah, that's
we all
amazing.
have different, it's amazing, yeah. So it's, you know, we have to give ourselves more credit for what we got already in, you know, and you know, it's we're doing amazing, so I think it's great. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave you now if that is okay, and
yeah.
let's connect more often, okay? Perhaps I don't know, next Saturday, or we can agree another day.
Yeah, next Saturday I will have to see because then my sister is here, so I
Okay,
need to check with
another
her.
time when it suits us, both of us. We can
We
arrange
will
something that suits
uh,
both of us.
message each other. It will be fine.
All right. Right. Lovely
Thank
talking to
everybody
you.
for watching.
Thank you. Leaving now.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you, Marilyn. Bye.
Thank you, Jen. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I hope it was informative or just nice to hear us talk. And I love you all and thank you. Goodbye.